Good evening, Professor. Today, I'd like to talk about an operating system. An operating system that's kind of obscure, a bit unique. It's kind of hard to get, really. And it's called Red Star OS. Now, there's currently at least 4, maybe 5 versions of Red Star OS, depending on how you're counting. But right now, we only have 2 versions open to the public. Now, why don't I preface this by saying, what is Red Star OS? To put it bluntly, it's North Korea's operating system. It's Kim Jong-un's operating system. He likes to keep tabs on his citizens, as everyone knows, and security is his #1 priority. Which kind of leads into why we only have 2 operating systems, 2.0 and 3.0. We don't even have the most recent one of 4.0, if that's the most recent one. He could be hiding a 5th one for all we know. But what I'd really like to get into before we really start talking about this Red Star OS is how we got it. So, in 2010, a Russian student, a foreign exchange student if you will, was studying in Kim Il-sung University. His name was Mikhail, or at least that's what he's going by. Because, you see, Mikhail went ahead and bought a physical copy of Red Star OS. And that's really how Red Star OS was distributed at the time. And could possibly still be today. We don't really know. But Mikhail went ahead and bought this operating system along with the Nanera, basically a Firefox clone, so he could go ahead and surf the internet. And when he got back, he sold, he didn't sell it, but he distributed it, so then you could see it in public archives. You can go ahead and download it yourself if you want to. But in 2013, that's when Red Star OS really hit it off, with someone named Will Scott. Now, Will Scott was a professor teaching at the Pyongyang University of Science and Technology. And he was able to purchase Red Star OS 3.0. Although there are no photos of the actual disk, he does say that he purchased a physical disk. So what you see right there is just a mock-up of the 2.0 disk. But he purchased it from the KCC, or the Korea Computer Center, which they basically manufacture Red Star OS. So after going ahead and distributing it, he gave his real name. He has a blog. He's been saying everything. Mikhail, on the other hand, that's a stock photo of just a Russian man holding a beer. Now, for the software installation. They're both somewhat similar, although Red Star OS 2.0 was definitely a lot more disk heavy, because before Red Star OS, citizens were able to use, and forbid it, Windows. They were able to use something that North Korea didn't control themselves, and Kim Jong-un was not happy. So what he did was he forced everyone to go ahead and switch over to Red Star OS, which is also why the 2.0 version is basically just a carbon copy of Windows XP or Windows Vista. It's kind of a mix between the two. It's got pirated assets, it's got everything really. The problem is that with software installation, you can't. North Korea uses a very specific internet called the Pyongyang Internet Service. And that's basically just their internet provider. It's all sectioned off. You can only download what North Korea wants you to download. So if you wanted to download a video, it's a North Korea political video. If you want to download a song, it's a North Korean political song. You couldn't do anything that North Korea didn't want you to do. So it was really limited. And even now, if we were to go ahead and download software from our own using it, pretty much what I'm saying is you have to jailbreak the actual operating system, or else it won't let you download anything at all. Even 3.0, 2.0 doesn't do this, but Red Star OS 3.0 uses a DNS blocker and a firewall that goes ahead and stops any outside downloads from happening. meaning that the operating system's useless unless you're in North Korea and in North Korea's servers. Now let's talk about the package managers. Red Star OS, it's kind of shameless. It just uses Red Hat. And if you don't know what Red Hat is, well, we're gonna talk about it. So Red Hat uses this thing called RPM, Red Hat Package Manager. And this was actually a very good thing for North Korea because it was able to basically, it could verify any package. It allowed the government to control the system. It allowed the government to see what was on people's systems easier. The government already takes screenshots of your computer as you're using it. It goes ahead and tracks the websites you're on. It tracks everything. It's spyware. It's worse than spyware. And Red Hat Package Manager added to this. And really, North Korea doesn't care about how great their operating system is. Even Red Star OS 3.0, they were using some outdated hardware. They were using the same package manager, their Yum, which was basically an addition to the Red Hat package manager, also provided by Red Hat. It was like just barely better than the 2.0 version. All they care about is being able to control your system and control your life. Now, these are what the desktop environments look like. As you can see right here, this is Red Star OS 2.0. Very Windows-inspired feel. So, the strengths for this is that it was a faithful Windows XP Vista recreation, which meant that when everyone was forced off of Windows and had to go to Red Star OS, well, it was kind of a seamless transition. Almost easy, per se. But then about like 3 years later, in 2013, Red Star OS 3.0 comes out. And Kim Jong-un, he changed it so then it could be basically Mac OS. It looks like Mac, it tastes like Mac, it's basically Mac. And he only did this because he likes Macs. And you know, if he likes it, he's gonna make sure you're gonna like it too. And really, the replication it goes down even to the system level, to how files are managed, everything. It's basically a carbon copy, but just using Red Hat. And it uses a KDE interface, which is really useful for North Korea because it allowed them to basically customize the desktop however they like, which allowed them to customize it for the 3.0 version as Mac OS and the 2.0 version as Windows. Also, everything's pirated. You can tell. There's even custom backgrounds, which are just the Windows XP logo. Everything is pirated. It's North Korea. Now, this is the design philosophy for both OS. If I didn't give it away yet, North Korea doesn't want this. North Korea doesn't want you browsing on the internet, doing whatever you want. North Korea really wants this. They want to be able to spy on you, track you, do everything that they can to you to basically limit your control, limit your knowledge of anything. That's why they have their own internet provider, their intranet. You can't even access South Korean servers, let alone the rest of the world. All you can do is access what Kim Jong-un himself allows you to access. And this basically was for everyone except for Kim Jong-un. It was for politicians, it was for the everyday man, it was for colleges, libraries, you name it, they had to use Red Star OS. Companies too. And, you know, you have one spyware plus full control over the internet. That's a scary combo. That's powerful. Now the security features. As I mentioned before, they have the Kwanghyang, I can't pronounce it, the intranet, that basically prevents you from accessing anything other than North Korean servers. And then for the 3.0 version, if you were to go ahead and try to get rid of his secret security, where he's able to go ahead and spy on you, track all your data, do everything that he can to know everything about you. He can see all your photos, see everything. If you tried to prohibit that, it would automatically reboot the system. It spies on its users. It uses its IP tables firewall, as I mentioned earlier, that lets it only connect to North Korean DNS servers. 2.0 was a little less intricate than this. There's really not a whole lot of information on 2.0 compared to 3.0, but it probably spies on its users as well. I heard it all the time. I couldn't find it myself. And they mentioned some Woodpecker antivirus and Pyongyang Fortress firewall. I'm not sure if this is a hoax. I saw it on like 2 websites. And then they also use their own custom-made, like AES-based encryption algorithm. It's called GIPSAM 1 and GIPSAM 2. GIPSAM 2 was a little bit more intricate. It uses RC2, I believe, RC4 based encryption, and then Red Star OS 3.0 has an extra one called Pilsung, which basically these are all ways to hide from other places, let's say, if anyone's trying to hack their operating system, it's fully secure. At least, they'd like it to be secure. That's the point of it. Now, the support and documentation. I've made a small tier list. 2.0 has no support. 2.0 has no documentation. And really, they both have lost their official support. Did they really have it to begin with? It's debatable. But now they're on to Red Star OS 4.0. So these two have been completely canceled. There has been some community support for the 3.0 version though. There's been jailbreaks to let you be able to run Doom, Minecraft. There's been projects to go ahead and bring it to 64-bit instead of 32-bit processing. And then the documentation for 3.0, really, this is thanks to the community and Will Scott himself, because 2.0, all the Russian did was post it on the internet and let it go. Will Scott has been there posting blog after blog after blog explaining what Red Star OS 3.0 is, and there's been people digging deep, going in the files, seeing how manipulative the Wi-Fi is, how just basically backwards the entire system is. And Red Star OS 3.0 is just a bit harder to use, but that's only because they have the firewall that doesn't let you connect to the internet. 2.0 is a bit archaic. And really the rest should be somewhat self-explanatory. The troubleshooting support is easier on 3.0 because there's more documentation. The setup though, it's still newer. It's easier to set up something older that has less security behind it. So 2.0 is easier to set up. And now, I'd like to give a special thanks to my good buddy Kim Jong-un. So, without him, none of this would have been possible. So we should all give a good round of applause to Kim Jong-un. Thank you. Now here are my works cited. It's been a pleasure.